Hey guys, Wes here, here with another video. Today we're going to change it up. We're not going to do a talking head. Today is like more of an instructional video. I'm going to show you how to cut a clothing sample. We're going to use my 5XL belly tee pattern. Yeah, these are the front and the back of it. So it's only 4 pieces. I have my fabric here. This is like a jersey knits, heavier weight. Something extra that I could use for the video. You're gonna need some weights. These are basically just like, I got them at Canadian Tire. They're just 1 kilogram weights. They're not like specific for fashion or anything, but they work well for me. I suggest weights instead of pinning, the pattern to basically the fabric, because it's such a waste of time to use pins and have to slot them in and pull them out. I just basically throw the piece down, trace it, and throw the weights on top. Well, obviously I throw the weights first, then I trace it and mark the notches, and then I basically pull the weights off, pull the pattern piece off, and my piece is marked and it's ready to cut. So it's a lot faster than pinning in the pattern to the fabric. So I highly suggest the weights. Good scissors. You're going to need good scissors, like very sharp, very good quality steel. These are Dragonfly Korea. I don't know if you can see those. I like a longer blade. That helps me a lot. You got to make sure that your hand is strong enough for the scissors that you have, because you have to be able to have that firm grip when you're cutting through the fabric, especially if it's woven. I mean, jersey is a little easier because it's lighter, but the thing with jersey is it moves around a lot. So that's a challenge with jersey. You need good sharp scissors. You need a firm grip. So yeah, get good scissors. These are some longer ones that I also enjoy using as well. I like the long blade and just the shape of them as well for my hand. You're going to need some tailor's wax. This is important. I mean, I would definitely suggest this instead of the chalk. The chalk breaks apart. It's very annoying to work with. It's powdery and the bar just snaps apart. This wax stays together and it's just a lot easier to work with. I mean, I use this one quite a bit. It kind of comes in sort of a rectangular sort of soap bar sort of when you originally buy it, and I mean there's colors like white, red, black, and yellow. With black fabric I would suggest the white. The yellow kind of doesn't come out very easily, and also with if you're going to use white fabric and stuff, I would suggest using, I mean, you can use the yellow for that, but go very, very light, because sometimes it's very hard to steam out the wax from the fabric. So, okay, let's get started with cutting the pattern. So I'm gonna set this stuff aside just so I can basically move the material here. So you can, I've already kind of pre-cut the length of it. So to fit this pattern, and I've kind of already pre-folded it, so I lay the fabric out there. You got to make sure that the salvage edges are lined up. This is the wrong side. I always, as a good habit, with the wrong side, I always exit, so I know. So it's a quick basically, maybe you can do it on the edges, in a couple areas, just so you know quickly that that's the wrong side. It's the front of the pattern. You can see some of the patterns are basically cut on the fold. This one is basically there's a seam down the center. So we're basically it's just one pattern piece, and you need 2 layers of fabric to cut it. So I'll put this one this way actually. So try to put the weights down. You gotta mark your pattern here. Make sure you get all your notches and do your notches like very visible so that you don't forget to basically snip them when you're cutting, because the sewing people are not going to appreciate, you know, missed notches and stuff. So, you know, this is just tracing the pattern on. Make sure we get the neckline. You can see it's pretty fast with the weights. You just throw the pattern down. I suggest not cutting with the pattern on the fabric, because you can take the scissors and kind of nick off some of the seam allowance or whatever. So I suggest just tracing it that way, and then you throw your weights back on, and this piece would be ready to cut. But we'll do the back as well. Same process. Basically tracing it again. You got your weights on here. Don't forget your notches. And yeah, just it's jersey, so try to go, you know, go as fast as you can, obviously. I mean, and we'll get this guy onto the next piece. Let's get this, put the sleeve and then the neckband. Toss the sleeve on here. Just zip it. Okay, coming along here. There we go. Last piece is the neckband. Throw those off to the side. There we go. So everything is marked now on the fabric. We're ready to cut our sample. So I'll basically just cut this sample for you. Just want to zip it. I use these scissors to cut the notches. These scissors are a little better for the notches because of the tips of these ones have kind of got bent over time. So I would probably suggest having a couple set of scissors when you want to cut, and good scissors, because sometimes, you know, they do fall on the floor and they get damaged and stuff. So if you can't cut notches, or, you know, one set of scissors can't cut through a certain kind of fabric well, but the other ones can, then, you know, it's beneficial to have a couple pairs, even 3 pairs. I mean, if they all kind of do different things, or, you know, maybe you lose a set of scissors and you have to cut a sample really quickly as well. So it's not always nice to have a backup. Just zipping through it. The armhole. On something there. It's not fun. Okay. I always suggest when you're just cutting, so that one's done. That's the mark here. I always put an X in the corner around the seam allowance. I mean, don't worry about this wax when you put an X, because you can steam it out. I always do it on each side as well of the sample, so that the sewing people, they see the X and they know it's the wrong side, and there's just no confusion with the. You can see that that's the cut piece there. You got the X's, you got your notches cut, and then I just fold it up, and I usually put it in like a plastic bag, you know, like something, almost like a, you know, like, let me see if I can find one. I'll be back. Anyways, I couldn't find one just on hand, but basically, like, I buy them from Dollarama. They're like almost like sandwich bag, but they fit like a single sample like very well. You get like I think 30 in a pack, and they're relatively cheap, and I just use those to put my sample in. So cut these. So we're doing the back now. One of my suggestions with the notches, which I have a terrible habit, is I always cut them too deep. So don't cut the notches too deep, but don't cut them too shallow. That's one thing that this, you know, when I take stuff to the factory with some people, I was like, oh, the notches are too far into the seam allowance. So I'm trying to, you know, to get better at that, and it's a habit, obviously, to just really cut the notches deep, but I'm trying to remember not to do that. So we're back. Still doing the back here. Cut that. Notches. Alright, that's the back done. Once again, marking, I put a big X. I mean, you can put a small little dot, like just as long as they know what the wrong side is. That always helps them with the speed. And just fold it up. I just try to make sure that the pieces, when I'm going to put them in the bag and when they're done, are nice and organized, and, you know, like, they're together and they're not going to be getting all wrinkled up and stuff, because this is going to save time when they sew it and then they have to steam it and stuff. Like, when they give it back to you, you just want to try to save as much time with this kind of, like, you know, if you can not wrinkle the fabric, that's better, because it saves time and energy for everyone. So it's just good to always be thinking about ways to sort of save time with this kind of thing. So I just throw the extra stuff. I mean, you can keep it depending on the size of it and what you're going to need it for, like the end cuts. I throw a lot of it away because usually it doesn't have a use for me, but if you want to tuck it away, I put it in a Tupperware, like if it's a larger piece, and then save it for, you know, another kind of sample or something. So we're just cutting the sleeve now. A couple more pieces to go. cut on the sleeve. Same deal with the sleeve. You know, mark somewhere on the wrong sides. I do a couple just so they know. Try to be consistent with that. Try to remember to, you know, to give it an X or some kind of mark so they know. And that's your sleeve. Let's pull the last piece down here so you guys can see. I'm working on getting a fisheye so that I can do basically more wide angle stuff. Obviously you know that I'm new to making YouTube videos about fashion, so bear with me and try to get better at the quality of the videos and stuff. So we'll work on that. Just cutting the neckband. I always cut the neckband, like you only need one neckband here. I mean, I'm cutting two. I always cut it just to save time. I usually cut it two and then I just throw away the neckband that I don't need. Or you can just include it, and if say they mess something up, they have an extra neckband, they'll just give you back the neckband when they give you the sample. So that, and it's not a lot of fabric anyways for the neckband, so it's all right to cut two. Okay, for the cutting there, throw this away, mark our notches, and hit the wrong side of the fabric. Give them a solid X on there, so they know. That's it. There you go. There's a 5XL belly tee. There's only 4 pieces. I mean, fairly quick. I hope, you know, if you were thinking, you can use these kind of tables. You can go on the floor. If you're gonna go on the floor, get knee pads. Like, you know, if that's the only available space, like you can cut basically anywhere. There's a lot of places you can do it if you don't have tables like this. I hope that video gave you kind of an idea of the process of how to cut a sample. A jersey sample, it's pretty much the same for when you're cutting a woven sample, like a denim jacket and stuff. The woven fabric will basically like perform differently. Like it's more solid, so when you put the weights on it, it's not moving around as much, but it's heavier to cut. So you got to use more power with your scissors. You can't put as many layers unless you use like an electric cutting knife of the woven to really zip through. But you know, I suggest, you know, when you're cutting the samples to, you know, to cut some by hand, and then maybe in the future you can get yourself an electric cutting knife and a real table and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is the basis to be able to cut samples by hand. You're always going to have to sometimes cut one sample, or, you know, so you do need the skills to, you know, to be able to work some scissors. I want to thank you for watching this video. Thanks very much for tuning into the channel and checking out the videos. If you like my work, if you like what I've offered you here, I mean, you can donate to my work. There's a PayPal link. My Instagram is below. You can see some of my work and some of my interests there. My online store is below. Please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate that a lot. You can email me if you have questions. My email is below. Thanks very much for having a look, and good luck with cutting your samples, and we'll see you soon. Bye.